So here, we'll take a look and we'll factor completely. The first step is to divide by whatever's in common. What does that mean? That means divide by a single number that goes into each of these coefficients. And I notice that 5 goes into each of these coefficients. So I'll divide by 5. That's the first thing that's in common. Then you divide by the most amount of variables that you have, but each term has to have that same amount. So this has 4 v's, this has 3 v's, this has 2 v's. So actually, the most that we can divide by is v squared, just because it's this one doesn't have any more than that, so I can't take out more. So when I say the most, it's kind of like, oh, the least that's showing, because that's the most that you can take out. Well, that's confusing. All right, then what's the next step? You write whatever you're dividing by, write it outside of these. What are these? What are the parentheses? And then you do the division. 5 divided by 5, that's just 1. And then v to the 4th divided by v squared. You just subtract the exponents. That would be v squared. Now you don't have to write the 1. You can just write v squared. And then I divide. Negative 30 divided by 5 is negative 6. And then v cubed divided, I'm stuttering. Divided by v squared is just v. And 40 divided by 5 is 8, so plus 8. And v squared divided by v squared is 1. But 8 times 1 is still just 8, so we can leave it like that. So that was step 1, divide by what's in common. Step 2, whatever you divide by goes on the outside of the parentheses. Step 3, do the division, put it inside the parentheses. Step 4 is maybe look at the x factor problem. So let's remember a, which is 1, times c, which is 8. That goes in the top. And then in the bottom we have just the b term, which is negative 6. We do not include the variable because a, b, and c are just coefficients. And then what do I do? Well, remember I'm trying to multiply to get to this number. So what times what gives me 8. And then I'm also trying to add to get to this number. So what times what gives me 8? I first thought 2 times 4. 2 times 4. But that gives me positive 6 if I add them. So how could I change that? Well, I can change it both to negative. Negative 2 plus negative 4, that's negative 6. That works. But does it work with multiplication? Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. Yes, this works. Now remember, if you have a 1 coefficient there, you can use a shortcut. And the shortcut is to copy that down with a v and a v. And you just take this and you put it there. And then it's minus 2. You take this and you put it there. And that's minus 4. And that's all you can do. That's it. There you go. You don't forget to write that outside. Some people forget to write that, but that's how you factor a trinomial. Try and divide by a greatest common factor. That's what this is. Divide by what's in common. That's a greatest common factor. And then maybe if it's a trinomial on the inside, try using the x factoring method. And there you go.